This is a quick demo video of how to use the web-based CommonLook PDF Advanced Editor. To get started, log in to web-based CommonLook PDF. You will first be taken to your dashboard, where you'll be able to find summary information of the work you've done in the past. It will list your total completed documents by type and will let you see data related to this month or overall. Also, in Your Action Needed, it will list any documents that are in progress or pending your input. To start a new project, in the menu on the left, choose Remediations. Next, to begin working on a document, choose Start New. The new remediation wizard screen will open. Next, upload the PDF you want to make accessible by either dragging and dropping it into the widget or browsing to locate and select the file. With the document loaded into the system, select Next to proceed. Next, choose a remediation path by selecting the radio button for the Advanced Editor if it is not already selected. Notice there is also a toggle for the tool to automatically generate tags. Use this feature carefully. Choosing Yes will remove all previously existing tags in the tags tree and replace them with automatically generated tags. This feature is an ideal tool to use for untagged or poorly tagged documents, but if you've done a lot of tagging prep work, you may not want to choose this option. This PDF is already tagged, so choose Next to proceed. The PDF is now being loaded into the system. The Advanced Editor will open once it is finished. The physical view of the document will appear in the center of the screen, and the Tags panel to the left. The tags are what assistive technology uses to convey the information in the document. If these tags are missing important content, if they are incorrect, or if they are out of order, the entire user experience for someone using assistive technology will be incorrect. The recommended workflow when using the Advanced Editor is to navigate through the tags, ensuring that the correct tags are being used for the content and that they're in the correct reading order. Then run the verification, check for anything missed, and finally create a report showing the accessibility of the document. Navigate to the Tags panel on the left side of the screen and open the root of the tags tree by either clicking on the caret or using the right arrow on your keyboard. Next, select the first paragraph tag in the tags tree. Notice in the physical view, the first line of the title is highlighted. Selecting the second paragraph tag in the tags tree shows the second line of the title highlighted. Both lines of the title should be combined into a single H1, or Heading 1 tag. The first step to inserting content into a new tag is to select it in the physical view. Highlight both lines of the title. Notice that both corresponding paragraph tag elements are also selected. Next, navigate to the Insert Tag menu and select the H1 button in the basic group of the ribbon. Notice too that when hovering the mouse over the H1 button, a tooltip appears showing the keyboard shortcut to create this tag. CommonLook PDF provides keyboard shortcuts for nearly every function in the software, making it accessible and easy for everyone to use. The H1 tag is nested inside one of the original P tags. However, it needs to be placed as the first tag in the tags tree and at the root level. To do that, right-click or open the context menu on the H1 tag, then navigate to and choose Level Up, or use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-P. The next tag in the tags tree is a table tag, but in the physical view, this content isn't in a data table. The problem with this is that a screen reader will tell someone there's a table there when that's not really correct. We see this a lot where people use tables just for formatting. CommonLook PDF's Advanced Editor has a way to easily fix presentation tables such as this. First, right-click to open the context menu of the table tag and choose Linearize Table. In the submenu, choose Horizontally. The cells in the table are converted to one figure tag containing the image and 3 P tags, and they are in the correct reading order. If the reading order was not as expected, you can use the Undo button or the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Z to undo this step and try linearizing the table vertically instead. In fact, CommonLook will allow a user to undo everything up until the last save, a feature that makes using the software very forgiving. Because the figure tag here contains an image that might be interpreted as conveying information, it needs to have alternative text. Select the figure tag and navigate to the Properties panel on the right side of the screen and click in the alt text field. Type the alt text, "A band playing during the laser light show at the music festival." Next, select the next 4 paragraph tags under the figure tag. These tags are in the correct tag type and reading order. However, the next tag, a P tag holding the heading content, dates and ticket prices, is incorrect and needs to be changed to an H2 tag. This can easily be changed with the convert tag function. Select the P tag containing dates and ticket prices and navigate to the convert tag menu in the toolbar. In the ribbon, choose the H2 button to convert the paragraph tag to an H2, or use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Shift-2. After the H2 for dates and ticket prices, there are 2 P tags each holding part of the same paragraph. This is incorrect, as semantically paragraph content should be contained in a single P tag. To easily handle this, we can merge 2 P tags into one. To do so, select the P tag holding the first part of the paragraph in the physical view. Next, hold the Shift or Control key and select the second P tag. Lastly, right-click and open the context menu and choose Merge Tags, or use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-M. Now there will only be one P tag with 2 text elements inside. CommonLook takes care of removing the empty tag automatically. Next, there is a table tag, and when it is selected, it highlights the data table in the physical view. Table tags are complex and require a correct table structure, with a table tag containing table rows, TR tags, which in turn contain table header, TH, and/or table data, TD tags. In addition, the header cells also need to be assigned the proper scope, column or row, so that the table information is correctly presented to individuals using assistive technology. To verify this, open the table editor by opening the context menu of the table tag and select Show Table Editor. In the table editor, verify that the layout matches the table in the physical view. In this example, it does, but we need to ensure the table headers are assigned correctly. To do this in the table editor, select the cell containing the text Day at the top left corner of the table editor. Next, hold down the Shift key and select the cell containing 4-pack. This selects the top row of cells. At the top of the table editor, there are 10 icons across the top. The 5th from the left is a button to change cells to table header cells and assign them the scope of column. Select this button. Now set the row headers of the table by selecting the cell containing Tuesday, and then, while holding down the Shift key, select the cell containing 3-day megapass. Then, at the top of the table editor, select the 4th button from the left to change the selected cells to TH and assign them the scope of row. This is all that needs to be done to ensure that assistive technology communicates this table correctly. Close the table editor by selecting the X in its top right corner. After fixing the table in the tags tree, close the table tag. Back in the tags tree, the next tag after the table is an H2 tag that contains the text for the heading location. This is the correct tag, as well as in the correct reading order, so it is accurate. The 4 paragraph tags immediately after the H2 each contain 1 line of the location paragraph. This is incorrect, as all the text should be contained in 1 P tag. We can easily fix this by using the Merge Tag function by selecting the first of these P tags, then holding Shift and selecting the 4th of these P tags, which includes Accessible. With those 4 paragraph tags selected, in that specific order, right-click on one of them in the tags tree, or open the context menu and select Merge Tags, or use Ctrl-M. Immediately after the newly merged paragraph, there is another H2 which is tagged correctly. However, the following 4 P tags are incorrect. In the physical view, there is a list, so the content should be tagged as a list. List tags have a very specific tag structure that include nested components within them. These nested components are list items LI, labels LBL, and body L body tags. CommonLook PDF will create the list structure and its components automatically by first highlighting the list in the physical view of the document. Next, navigate to the Generate from Selection group on the far right side of the Insert Tag menu and choose the List button, or use the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl-Alt-9. After tagging the list, move it to the root level by leveling up, Ctrl-Alt-P. And notice there are empty P tags remaining. These are the P tags without a caret to the left. CommonLook can clean up multiple empty tags at once. To find this command, open the context menu on any tag in the tags tree, select Clean Up. A submenu opens with two options for cleaning up empty tags. The full cleanup will get rid of every empty tag in the entire document. The Skip Empty Cells option leaves behind the empty TH or TD cells that might be needed to keep tables regularly shaped. It is recommended to use the Skip Empty Cells for cleaning up empty tags, as this type of cleanup will not accidentally mess up tables. Select the Skip Empty Cells option, or press Ctrl-E to clean up those empty tags. After generating a list, verify that the list was tagged correctly. Open the list tag and find 4 LI or list item tags. Open the list item tags to reveal their nested child label and L body tags. Selecting the label tags will highlight the bullets in the physical view. Selecting the L body tags will highlight the text of the list items in the physical view. Alternatively, open the label and L body tags to verify their contents. It's worth noting that while remediation is a manual job, which can be tedious and time-consuming, CommonLook just automatically created 13 brand new tags and placed them into the correct list structure with a single command. After the list in the tags tree, there's a paragraph tag. Selecting it will highlight what should be the next paragraph to be read in the document. This tag is correct and in the correct reading order. The next 3 tags are figures. However, when the first one is selected, notice that the logo on the right side of the page is highlighted, as opposed to the one on the left. Hold the Ctrl and Shift keys, then press the down arrow key twice to reorder the figure tags. This functionality, Change Tag Order, can be found in the Context menu when you select any tag. Next, select the figure tags in order from top to bottom to verify that the logos will be read from left to right as they appear on the page. Notice that the first figure tag does not have alternative text, but that can also be assigned in the verification process in the Fix Wizard. The last paragraph in the tags tree is correct, so no further action is needed. After checking and fixing the tags, navigate back up to the top of the tags tree. Right-click on the tag's root to open the context menu and choose Create Document Tag. This wraps everything up in a document tag and is a requirement of the standard. Next, it's time to run a verification and make sure that nothing was missed. Navigate to the Standards panel, located on the right side of the screen, below the Selection Settings panel, or by selecting the Validate button along the top right of the interface. Select Standards and open the Structural and Accessibility menus. From the Structural menu, choose ISO 32000-1-2008. This is the standard on how to make a PDF and will test the structural integrity of the document. Hold down the Control key and in the Accessibility menu, choose WCAG 2.2 AA. Now choose the Run Full Validation button. Go to the Results panel when it opens, across the bottom of the middle panel. CommonLook lists every checkpoint for the chosen standards and their status. To filter the results to the ones that need to be addressed, navigate to the Status Filter drop-down menu and expand it. Uncheck the All checkbox and check the boxes for awaiting validation, failed, user verification, and warning. Now, CommonLook is listing the issues or the potential issues in the document. Select the first failure in the Results panel. The first of the 3 logos at the bottom of the page gets selected and shown in the physical view. Select the 3-dot menu in the rightmost column of the result and choose Fix to use the Fix Wizard to add the alt text. The Fix Wizard will walk you through the situation. In the Fix wizard, along with a description of the failure, under Fix Options, there's a drop-down menu with different ways to correct the problem. Because this figure tag needs to have alternative text, we'll use the first option shown to provide alt, actual, or expansion text. Choose Next. In Step 2, choose to provide alt text for the tag, and then Next. Finally, in Step 3, enter the alternative text needed for the image. In this case, enter logo for radio station Q99.4. Navigate to the Finish button and select it. There is one warning result to address. Select this warning item and select the three-dot menu. Choose Edit Status and/or Comment. The Change Status menu will open. It reads, Page 1 contains content but does not define header or footer pagination artifacts. Please confirm this is correct. In this document, there aren't any headers at the top of the page and there aren't any footers at the bottom, so change the status to Passed. After the failures and warnings have been fixed, there are a number of items that require user verification. Validating a document can't be an entirely automated process because a machine can't, for example, verify that the alt text on an image is appropriate for that image. This is why checking the things that require user verification is very important. In the Results panel, select the first user verification item. It'll highlight the first image in the document, the main stage at the music festival, and select the figure tag in the tags tree. Open the three-dot menu for that result and choose Edit Status and/or Comment. Read the description. Here it's asking whether or not the alt text that was provided for the figure is appropriate. This alt text is appropriate because it was just added during the remediation phase. In the Status drop-down menu, choose Passed and then Finish. Select the next two user verification items. These are for the other images in the document. The first one is for the radio station A105.8, and the second is for the logo with the dog in it. Both of these alt texts are correct, so select both of the results and change their status to Passed. Next, verify that the table summary is appropriate for the table. This is accurate, so change that item's status to Passed using the same menu used previously. The next verification is to ensure that color use, contrast, format, layout, etc. aren't the only way that information is being conveyed. Since this isn't an issue in this document, change the status to Passed. The next checkpoint is asking specifically about the contrast ratio between text and the background of the document. There's enough contrast visually so that content is easily read. Again, we can pass this item. The next four results are asking, for all four of the images in the document, whether or not they have a contrast ratio of at least 3:1 with their surrounding content. They do, so we can select all of these four non-text contrast items and pass them. Next, we're asked whether or not the title of the document is appropriate. It is, so we can pass this item as well. And finally, verify that the language setting, in this case English, is correct. This can be passed too. Due to the web-based nature of this CommonLook PDF interface, when we update content through the Fix wizard, it does not instantly become something that can be verified as a user verification result. As a result, after we use the Fix wizard to add the alt text for the Q99.4 logo, we created a new result labeled as Awaiting Validation. To handle this, we need to rerun our verification check. This will allow CommonLook to validate this updated component, and then it can be addressed accordingly. Navigate back to the Standards panel and select the Run Incremental button, or hit Validate at the top of the screen. This will update the check and turn the awaiting validation result into a user verification. With the updated user verification result, it can now be passed. Once finished fixing the document, including the items identified during the verification phase, a compliance report can now be generated. This report will show that the document has been tested against the chosen standards and the issues have been addressed. In addition, if any comments were added in the status dialog box, they'll be in the report as well. Navigate to the Status Filter drop-down menu at the top of the Results panel and check the box next to All. Next, go to the Generate Report button. rightmost button in the same menu, and select it to generate a report. This will automatically generate and download an accessible HTML compliance report to accompany the remediated PDF. Lastly, save the document and exit the CommonLook PDF Advanced Editor by selecting the small Save icon in the top menu and then selecting the Exit button. At the top of the compliance report, you'll see the file name, date of verification, and a summary of the results. Note that there are no failures, warnings, or user verifications listed as they have just been addressed. This is how compliance is guaranteed. The ISO 32000 structural results are listed first. In this table, everything is either passed or not applicable. With nothing listed in the comments column, this is all stuff that CommonLook has automatically taken care of. While remediating PDFs may seem like a manual job, and it is, there's a lot that CommonLook takes care of automatically for us. In the accessibility results, there will be items that have passed without a comment. Again, these are the checkpoints that CommonLook was able to pass automatically. The user verification items that were manually passed in the verification process will have a comment populated. If a comment was not added by the user, there will be the default comment listed, verification set by user. However, if a comment was entered during the verification process, that is the comment that will be listed instead of the default. I hope you have found this demo informative and enjoyable. Please contact us at sales@alliant.com with any questions or feedback. Thanks for watching, and happy remediating.